Hello and Assalamu alaikum. This is Ali Abbas, and I'm here with the very next past paper that is May June 2022, and it is paper 1-1. So kindly subscribe my channel and share as well. So going to the very first part quickly. In question number one, it is basically asked that write down the value of 5 in the number 253624. So where does that 5 is lying? 5 is basically lying at the 10,000th position. So this means that we can say it is basically 50,000. It is referring towards 50,000. That's 5 is representing at you can say 10,000th position. The next question is the crowd of a sports event is exactly 35687, and we have to write down the number correct to the nearest 10. Nearest 10 means we have to stop till that 8. So look at the very next number to it, that very right next number to it is right is greater than 5. So we have to add, you can say 1 into that 8, that becomes 9. So the number will become 3569, and we'll write down the last number as 0. So going quickly towards the question number 2. In question number 2, there is a diagram which is given, and we have to write down the number of lines of symmetry of the diagram. What does this mean? The number of lines of symmetry, this means that the lines which are basically mirror lines or line of reflection. If we made anywhere a line on this figure, that will be reflection of the other side. So if we cut this thing, you can say vertically, it will be a mirror image of each other. So no other line, if we make any other position, it will not be fine. So the answer is 1. Why? Because there is only one line of symmetry that is basically denoting this line by cutting this line into half, or we can say the left hand side of this image must be same as the image on the other side. So going towards the next part, in the next part there is a diagram which is given, and we have to write down the order of the rotational symmetry. What does order of the rotational symmetry means? If we have to rotate that image that is, you can say, occurring like this, which is already in the question, so that will be one order. So if we rotate further, if it is giving the same shape again, it means that it will be having order of 2. So in this case, if we rotate, that that line is exactly lying in between that basically line. So it will not be having the same shape if we rotate 90 degree. If we rotate 90 degree, the shape will be changed. If we again rotate that shape, means that if we rotate till 180 degree, that that line will be occurring at this position, and this will be occurring at this, so it will be having its original shape. So it will be the very first order of the rotational symmetry. So again, you can say rotating, so this shape will be occurring at this position, it will not be having the same shape. So we have to shift again, means rotate again, that will be having the original position, means we have rotated the 360 degrees. So after, again, the 360 degrees can be considered as the second order of rotational symmetry for this shape. So we can say it will be having order of 2 for the rotational symmetry. So moving towards the next part, if you have any queries, write down in the chat box. So in the next question, there is, you can say, a table which is given for the temperatures in, you can say, a specific region, and the average monthly temperatures of, you can say, the months are given, means January's temperature, February's, and similarly till December, all of the temperatures are given. What we have to do, we have to find the difference between the highest and the lowest of these temperatures. So which is the highest among all of these temperatures? It is 20 in August. So we can write down 20 and subtract the lowest. What will be the lowest among all of these? It is negative 12. So difference of these two must be 32, means negative will be multiplied with negative, it becomes positive. So 12 will be added with 20, it results in 32. In the next question, in February, the average temperature uh, in another city, means Yakutsk, is 37 degrees below that in the previous, which is given here. So find the average temperature. You have to tell in February for Yakutsk. Means this means that the temperature in you can say the first city is -8, and they're saying that it is below. Below means we have to subtract. Means -8, and below means we have to subtract 37 degrees. So -8 and -37 both are negative. It will be added, results in -45. So -45 degrees centigrade is the temperature in Yakutsk in February. So moving towards the next question. The next questions, two cubes are given and the total volume is given 152 centimeter cube. One cube has an edge length of 5 centimeter, and calculate the length of the edge of the other cube. Means the total volume is 152, and length of you can say one of the edge of the length is given. So we can say the total is 152, and if we know one of the cube's volume formula, it is 5 cube, we have to add, we can suppose the other cube's length as x. So we can add x raised to power 3 means x cube, because the volume's formula for cube is length cube. So 5 cube is 125 plus x cube is x cube equals to 152. Subtract that 125 onto the other side, it results in 27. So 27 is basically cube of 3. So it results in, because if we take cube root of both of the sides, that will be giving us the length of the other cube. It is 3, because 3's cube is 27. So the answer, final answer for this is 3. Moving towards the next part, work out the total length of all of the edges of the larger cube. Total length of all of the edges means we have to add all of the lengths of the edges of the larger cube. So which is larger cube, means which is having length 3 centimeter or 5. So obviously 5 is the greater among these two. So we have to add all of these. So I'm simply drawing a cube so that we can understand it quite better. So this is a cube. So we can say this is 5 centimeters, this is 5, this is 5, all of the lengths are 5. So we can say in the base there are 4 lengths. We can say by adding all of these, it results in 20. Similarly, adding the lengths in the top side of that cube, it will be also 20. So which sides are left here? We can say this side means 4 other sides are left here. So we can add all of these. So the result of 20 plus 20 plus 20 is 60 centimeters. So it is the total length of all of the edges of the larger cube. So it is a 1 mark. You can do with any of the process, any of the methods, no issues at all. So moving towards the next question. If you have any queries, write down in the comment box. In the next question, look at the diagram. The net of a solid is given, and basically one box represents 1 centimeter. So look at the diagram. There are 2 circles and 1 rectangle. So the very first question in this you can say question is basically we have to name the solid. So the solid which is having 2 circles and 1 rectangle, if we fold it, it becomes a cylindrical shape. This is the circle on the top and this is on the bottom. So we can figure it out. This is a cylinder. So name of the solid is cylinder. And what we else have to do? So we have to tell the dimensions. So what else the dimensions are being involved in cylinder? Cylinder is having 2 of the dimensions. What are the dimensions? One is radius, or we can say diameter. And the other one is basically the height. The other one is the height. So we have to tell what is the radius. Radius is basically we can clearly see this is a circle, and if we move from here till here, look at the number of the boxes. There are three boxes. If we divide that 3 by 2, it means it will be resulting in 1.5 centimeters. So 1.5 centimeter is basically the radius of that cylinder. What about height? Height must be vertical, not the horizontal one. Means if we shift from here till here, it will be its height. So how many boxes we have shifted? One, two, three, four, five, and 6. So height is 6 centimeters. So writing these two parameters, these two dimensions here that are the required answer means radius equals 1.5 centimeters and height is 6 centimeters. If we have written all of the three answers correctly, we will get 3 marks completely. So moving ahead to the next part. So moving ahead to the next part. In next question, we have to write down a prime number in between 10 and 15. Prime numbers are the numbers that have only two factors, one in itself. So the very first number other than 10, if we move ahead to, you can say after 10, it is 11. So 11 is also prime number, and one more prime number is also there, that is 13. So we can write down any one of them, that will be fine. So I'm writing down 11 here. So the next question is an irrational number between 10 and 15. Irrational number is basically its non-terminating plus non-recurring number. So we can write down any of the number that is in between 10 and 15, and it is never ending and it is not recurring as well. Means that if I write down 11.1247712 so on dot dot dot, it means that 11 point never ending number, it's not stopping at all and it's not repeating as well. So this is the answer for it. So moving ahead to the next question. The very first question is median number of pets. We have to tell the median number of pets for the given table. Means number of pets are given in the first row, and in the second row frequencies accordingly are given. So how to find median? For finding the median, there are 20 students. If we add the frequencies, it gives 20 because it's already given in the question. So add 1 into that frequency, it results in 21, and 21 must be divided by 2. So what's the answer? It is 10.5. 10.5 is basically the mid value. Actually, we are going to find mid value for the given frequency. So for the given frequency, 10.5 is the mid value. We have to find the exact, you can say, region here. Means that 10th number, 10.5 is basically in between 10th value and 11th value. So for finding the median, we have to add the 10th number value and 11th number value and then divide by 2. That will be our answer. So moving here means we have to shift from 3 till 8. There are 3 values till that 0. 0 is repeating 3 times, 1 is repeating 8 times. So 3 plus 8 is 11. So it is referring us that 10th number value is also 1 and 11th number value is also 1. So taking the average of the same number results in the same number, means 2 by 2 results in 1. So if you can find this answer by any of the methods, any of the way, you will get 1 mark. So moving ahead to the next question, mean number of pets. Mean is basically sum of data divided by the number of data. So sum of data is basically summation fx. What does summation fx means? You can say multiplying the corresponding frequency with the corresponding data, means 3 is being multiplied with 0. Similarly, we have to multiply each and every frequency with the corresponding data and add all of them in the numerator. Means 8 is being multiplied with 1 and it will be added here. 8 times 1, and then plus 3 times 2. Similarly, in the next column, it is 4 times 3, and similarly, it is 0 times 4, and the last one is 2 times 5. So these are basically the sum of data. If we add them, that will be the final result of this, and divided by 20, because summation of frequencies is 20. So by simply multiplying and adding all of these numbers, 3 times 0 is 0, that is 8 times 1 is 8. 8 plus 6 is 14, plus 12 is 26, plus 0 is 26, and plus 10, 36. So the result is 36 by 20. So what will be the answer? If we divide, it will be 18 over 10. 18 by 10 is 1.8. 1.8 is the mean number of pets we have found here. So I hope so you understand. If you have any queries, write down in the chat box, comment box. Moving ahead to the next question. In the next question, there is a diagram. It is given here. And in this diagram, it is basically a question related to scatter diagram. Scatter diagram is basically given, means two of the quantities are being represented. One of them is distant from the city center, and all of the, you can say, distances are given. And in the second, you can say row, monthly rents are given accordingly through each and every data. So which values are, some of them are plotted here. We have to complete the scatter diagram. First 4 points have been plotted, and we have to plot the other points. So 4 points are plotted, and the fifth one is 2.0 on x-axis and 480 on y-axis. So 2 on x-axis, 2 on x-axis, and 480. 480, where does 480 lying on y-axis? 480 is basically lying here. So next one after 2, it is 4.3 and 270. 4.3 on x-axis, 4.3, 3 boxes here, and it is I think 270. Yes, 270. Where does 270 lie? 270 is lying 3 boxes under 300. So it is done here. So what about the next one? It is 2.3 and 390. 2.3 and 390. 2.3 after 2, there are 3 boxes, and it is 2.3 and 390. 390 is actually 1 box under 400. So this is the result of it. Next one is 3 and 360. 3 and 360. 3 and 360 will be lying 4 boxes under 300. So it's the result of it. The last one, but not the least, it's 1 and 530. 1 and 530. 530 on my axis will be 3 boxes ahead than 500. So this is the representation. So I hope so you understand this. So the scatter diagram is completed, and we have to write down the type of correlation in this. Means if we are moving from left to right, what is going to be happen for the values of x? Means from left to right, the values of you can say on x-axis increasing. What about y-axis? The values of y-axis are decreasing accordingly. So this results in negative correlation. If we are increasing on x-axis, the results on y-axis decreasing accordingly, the correlation is negative. So we have to write down negative here. So what about the next one? In the next part, we have to draw a line of best fit. So line of best fit is basically the line on which you can say majority of the points are lying, or we can say most of the points are lying above and below it. It is basically the average of the lines, average of the you can say values that are lying on it. So if we say, if we are starting from here, if we move from here and here, so moving through it. So we can see clearly some of the points are lying above and some are lying below it. The number of values are quite, we can say, equal. We can say if we say the values left towards it and right towards it are same, and the points that are lying on it are exactly the same as well. So it is a line of best fit we have made here. So through the line of best fit, the next part is to be done. And what is to be done? So look at the next part. In the next part, using that line of best fit to estimate the monthly rent of the apartment, which is 4 kilometers from the city. 4 kilometers from the city means the distance is on x-axis. So directly looking exactly above 4 kilometers and point out that region. So this is a region, and through it we have to tell what is the cost on y-axis. So moving towards left, and it is lying here. That means that it is three, you can say, units below it. It is giving $270. So $270 is the answer of it. So if you have done the previous part correctly, then you can write down your answer in the correct manner. We can say it's the estimated answer, actually, you can say. Actually, they have mentioned estimate. So if you're having 275, if you're having 280, that is fine as well. So moving ahead to the next part, in the next question, what is being asked? In the next question, 11, you can say a table is given. Color of the cars are given: red, black, blue, and silver, and frequencies accordingly are given: 36, 11, 23, and 30. How to find the relative frequency that you can say one of these cars is blue? So look at the number of cars that are blue. Blue cars are 23. And what were the total number of cars? They have mentioned already, means there are 100 adults. So if we add the frequencies, the result is 100. So 23 over 100, or we can say 23 over 100 is 0.23, and 23 over 100, both are fine. So if you write that in the decimal form, it's fine as well. And if we have written down in the fraction form, it's also fine. Looking at the next question, a different group of 1200 adults, number of adults are changed, and who are asked the color of their car. The relative frequency of one of these adults owning a white car is 0.3. So 0.3's frequency are given. We have to tell number of, we can say, these adults who own a white car. So how to find the number of adults who own white car? We have to simply multiply the relative frequency with the frequency as well. Frequency of the, you can say, white car. So frequency of the white car, by looking ahead, what is the frequency of the white car here? So actually, the relative frequency is to be multiplied. So looking at the next question, 1200 adults are, you can say, asked about the color of their car, and the relative frequency accordingly are given, means for the white car that is 0.3. So how we can find the number of adults who own a white car? It's quite simple, is that multiply the total number of adults with the relative frequency of that specific event. So multiplying this with 0.3, how we can simplify without calculator? By simply removing the decimal point of 0.3 and divide by 10. 0 will be cut with 0. So 12 times 3 is 36, and put that 0 of 120. It will be 360 people who owns white car. So if you have any queries related to it, you can ask as well. So moving ahead. So moving ahead to the next question, it is of the numbers topic, and they've written down. We have to write down our answer to, you can say, correct to one significant figure for all of these, and estimate the value of it. So 0.3, the very first significant figure of it is 3. So we can write down 0.30, or we can 0.3 multiply with the very first significant figure is 3. After 3, that is 7. It's greater than 5. So adding 1 into the 3, it becomes 40.040. Divided by it becomes very first digit is 7. After 7, it is greater than 5, so it will be 880. 0 will be got with 0 for 1 times and for 2 times. So removing that decimal point of 0.3, it will be, I can say 3 divided by 2 and times 10. So the answer is 3 over 20. 3 over 20, or it's in the fraction form, or if we want to simplify into the decimal form, it results in 0.15. So this is 0.15 is the final result of this. We can do this thing in the rougher, means divide 3 by 20, we will get our result as well. Moving ahead to the next question, the next question is related to algebra, means opening the brackets. So x times x will be x squared, minus 4 times x is minus 4x, plus 3 times x is plus 3x, 3 times 4 is 12, it will be negative as well. So simplifying the terms, minus 4x plus 3x results in minus x. Subtracting 3 from 4, sign will give the bigger term. So x squared minus x minus 12 is the answer of this question. Actually, we have to expand and we have to simplify as well. Moving ahead to the next part, opening the brackets, expanding the brackets, and then simplification in the next process. 5 times x is 5x. 5 times 2 is 10, and with positive sign. Negative 2 will be multiplied with negative 2, it will be negative 4, and x will be written as it is. Negative 2 will be multiplied with negative 1, it will be positive 2. So 5x minus 4x results in x. 10 plus 2 is plus 12. So x plus 12 is the final result of this question. So moving ahead to the next question related to algebraic fractions, how to simplify, how to make them as a single fraction. So actually you can see 3 and 9's LCM is 9. So multiplying the first fraction with 3 and divide as well. 3 times 4 is 12b over 9 plus 5b over 9. So the denominators are same. Write down the denominator. 1 time 12b plus 5b is 17b. 17b over 9, or in mixed fraction form, it is 1 whole 8 over 7 and b. So it is the answer. 1 whole 8 by 7b is the result, or we can say 17b over 9. Both are the same. So moving ahead to the next question. In the next question, it is related to indices and standard form. Part A is about standard form. We have to write down the answer in standard form. We have to move that decimal point, you can say in between 8 and 6. In order to write down in standard form, it is 8.63 times. What about the number of the digits we have shifted? There are 3 zeros and 1 8 as well. So there are 4 digits we have shifted. And what about this? Moving from smallest number to the biggest number, the tens power must be negative. If we're moving from bigger to smaller, powers become positive. Smaller to bigger, powers become negative. So moving ahead to the next question, that is basically the areas are given, the deserts are given, and area in kilometers square accordingly given here. So we have to write down the name of the desert with the largest area. Look at the powers of 10. Which power of 10 is the biggest among all of them? That is 7. And about which desert? It's Antarctica. No need to look at the numbers in front of that powers of 10, because if powers of 10 are the biggest, no need to look at those numbers, because powers of 10 will represent us that this specific area or desert is the largest among all of other deserts given in the table. 1.4 times 10 is per 7, and we have to write down the name. Name is basically Antarctica. So this is basically the result, and the area is 1.4 times 10 is per 7. So calculate the total area of Arabian and Kalahari deserts. So given your answer in the standard form. So what about Arabian? Where is Arabian? Arabian is 2.3 times 10 raised to the power of 6, and we have to add. Why we are going to add? Because it is involving total area. Total is basically the sum of both of the areas of the specific deserts. So one is Arabian, the other one is Kalahari, the other one is Kalahari is 9.0 times 10 raised to the power of 5. So there are two ways for solving this. I'm going towards the easiest among both of them. So convert the smallest power of 10 to the biggest power of 10. If you move 10 raised power 5 to 10 raised power 6, what is going to be happening actually in 9? It will become 0.9. One digit, one decimal will be shifted towards left in order to make you can say smallest power to biggest power. So if powers of 10 are same, then we can add in you can say standard form. There is a rule. So 2 times 10 is power 6. If powers are same, so we can write down 10 is power 1 time and add 0.9 into 2.3. So what will be the answer? 9 plus 3 is 12. 1 will be carried and it will be 3. 3.2 times 10 raised to the power of 6. This is the final answer of it. So moving ahead to the next question. If you have any queries related to indices and standard form, you can say specifically, I will be making all of these topics videos in detail and as well as quick revision videos as well. So do you can say follow me and subscribe my channel as well. So moving ahead to the next question. In the next question, it's related to indices, means we have to write down, we have to evaluate. Evaluate means write down your answer in some numbers form. So how we can write down? So division is basically done like this: 7 raised power minus 3 divided by 7 raised power 10, 7 raised power negative 4. So write down 7 one times, bringing that negative 4 means we have to make power of 7 same. So minus 3, it becomes positive 4. So minus 3 plus 4 is positive 1. So 7 raised power 1 is 7. Any number raised power 1 is that same number. So how to find the next, I can say value of k in the next part. So power will be multiplied. So 3 times 6 power, raised to the power of 6k equals to 3 raised to the power of 2. So if bases are same, we can make the powers equal. This is the rule for indices. So 6k equals to 2. So bringing that 6 onto the other side by dividing it. So 2 by 6 results into 1 times 2, 3 times results in 1 over 3. So this is part B. So moving ahead to the part C. So how to solve part C means if there is a power of, you can say if numbers are going to multiply and there is a whole power, that whole power is being multiplied with each and every term, every powers of these numbers, means we can write down 3 times 2 raised power 2 being multiplied with 2, it becomes 2 raised power 4 times 3 raised power 3 will be multiplied 2, it becomes 6 multiplied by 5, 4 into 2 powers will be multiplied with 8. So that 3 is only being multiplied with that 3 raised power 6 because bases are same. If bases are same, we can add the powers of that thing. No, this 3 is it will not be having any impact on 2 and on 5 as well, because if bases are same, then we can add the powers. Multiplication will be done one time with that complete term. So 2 raised by 4 times it becomes 6 and plus 1 is 7 and times 5 raised by 8. So this is the final answer of it. 2 raised by 4 times 3 raised by 7 times 5 raised to the power of 8. So this is indices type of questions. We have solved them. So moving ahead to the next type of the question. So it is related to vectors. So how to solve vectors? You can say the column vectors are given of these two vectors, and where to the grids are all also given, and where to label that vector p. How we can label that vector p? Look at the vector p. The very first element is denoting the change in x-axis, and the second one is denoting the change in y-axis. Positive 2 in x-axis means if we start from this point, we have to shift rightwards 2 units rightwards toward it. So we have shifted till here. And positive 3 means we have to shift 3 units upwards, means 1 unit is this, 2 and 3. We have to stop here, joining these 2 points. Once we have joined these 2 points, what we have to do, it is basically representing, means we have started from this point and ending in this point. So the head must be towards the end and tail must be towards the starting point. So this is actually the representation of vector P on this grid. Means we have shifted that column vector into a vector that is being represented by a line with arrow on the grid. So what about the next part? In the next part, we have to represent 2q. What does 2q means? 2q means a scalar number that is being multiplied with q. It becomes 2 times q is 2 times 3 and 2. That 2 is to be multiplied with both of the terms. So it becomes -6 and it becomes 4. So -6 is basically representing the change in x-axis and 4 is representing the change in y-axis. -6 means shifting 6 units leftwards. Shifting 6 units leftwards means starting from here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and 6. Starting here and shifting here and moving 4 units upwards because there is a positive change in y-axis. So 1, 2, 3, and 4. Stop here. Join these 2 points. So the arrow must be towards the end point. Starting point must be having the tail and end point must be having the head. So this is the representation for the vector 2q on this grid. So moving ahead to the next part of this question, what actually being asked there. So in the next part, it is said that we have to represent P minus Q, subtraction of 2 vectors on this grid in terms of 1 vector. So what is P? P is basically 2 and 3. P is 2 and 3, -3 and 2 is Q. Means P is 2 and 3 minus, and the other vector is -3 and 2. So making this vector as a single vector means 2 minus minus means it becomes +5 and 3 minus 2 is 1. So this is a simplified, you can say, answer for P minus Q in terms of column vector. So if we are starting from this point, so what does 5 means? 5 means we have to shift 5 units rightwards on x-axis. So starting from here, it will be 1, 2, 3, 4, and 5, and moving 1 unit upwards because there is a positive change of 1 in y-axis. So it is the final point. So joining these 2 points, so joining these 2 points. So if you join this, so simply mark the arrow means the starting point must be having the tail and the end point must be having the head of this vector. So it is P minus Q, it is represented. So quickly moving ahead to the next part. Next question. So in next question, it's basically scale drawing question. So what's being actually asked is there is a scale. So we can simply write on scale ratio actual. So on scale, or we can say on map, it is being represented 2 centimeter is being represented here. It is denoting 1 kilometers. But what is to be said in the next part, the area of the wood is 6 centimeters square. So we have to change the units for the scales into square. Means I can write on separate here map ratio actual. So we have to take square of both sides in order to make centimeter square. So 2 squared is basically representing 1 kilometer square. So 2 square is 4, so we can write on 4 centimeter square under the map, and on actual it is 1 kilometer square. So actually we have to find the actual area. So in actual area we can write on x, and under the map according to that x, that is on the map it is 6 centimeter square. So by cross multiplying means this is basically direct proportion thing. So 4 times x must be equals to 6 times 1. So 4x equals to 6, dividing that 4 onto the other side. So the result is 2 2s are 2 3s are. Result is 3 by 2, or we can say 1.5 kilometer square. So this is the answer for this scale drawing thing. Moving ahead to the next question. Question number 18, we have to represent the first part means as a shaded region means P intersection Q complement. Q complement means the region is except that Q. Other than Q, the region is outside that Q. And the intersection of that must be, according to P, must be the region which is lying in P, but that will be not the part of Q. So we can shade this specific region for P, it will be our answer. So for, I can say, if you have any queries related to the shading part and you can say other questions related to sets and Venn diagram, I will be uploading my videos related to these topics separately soon and as a quick revision process as well. So do follow as well. Moving ahead, this is a question. A club has 32 members. 14 of the members are female, 18 of the members are male. 5 of the males have black hair, 6 of the males have black hair. So what we have to do, E is totally the members, number of the members of the club. F is females and B is members with black hair. So what about females? So we have to figure out females will be having with black hair are totally 5. So we have to write down 5 here. What about the other female? Total are 14. So 14 minus 5 will be the number of females that are not having black hair. So we can write down 9 here. So what about the, you can say, members who are having black hairs and not females? So actually, we can see total persons are 11. 6 plus 5 are 11. So if 5s are female having black hair, so 6 will be left here. So what about the total? Total is 32. So the remaining must be written outside. Add all of them. 9 plus 5 is 14 plus 6 is 20. Subtract 20 from 32. That will be 12 and 12 will be written outside. If you have written down all of the numbers correctly, you will be having 2 marks from it. So pardon, we have missed one of the pages before. So I'm going to that page and we can solve the questions that are missed from this paper. These are the questions. These are the questions like this is a fraction. So how we can solve them making the denominator same. So multiplying first term with 5. 5 times 2 is 10 and 10 over 3 times 5 is 15 and then subtract it will be multiplied by 2. 2 times 6 divided by 5 3 times 9 multiplying by 3 times 9 and 5 3 times 15. So 10 minus 9 is giving us 1. So 1 by 15 is the correct answer. If you written down the correct answer, you will be having one number. Otherwise, you will be losing your marks. So in the next question, 3 over 5, division sign will be changed with multiplication and it will be reciprocal. So 3 over 2. 3 times 3 is 9. 5 times 2 is 10. So moving ahead to the next question. In next question, we have to write down in the ascending order. So for ascending order, we need to have the same units. So if for conversion into meters, it's quite easy. The last of them is in meters. So we can convert all of the other numbers into meters. So 1 meter is having 100 centimeters. So for converting centimeters to meters, we have to divide by 100. So when dividing by 100, so it results in 320 meters. So what about this? So 1 meter is basically having 1000 millimeters. So dividing this thing with 1000, so it will be resulting in 3.3 meters. So for converting from kilometers to meters, 1 kilometer is having 1000 meters. So we have to multiply this thing with 1000. So the result is shifting 3 digits towards right. So 1 and 2 zeros. So it will be having 3100 meters. So which one of them is the smallest? So the smallest among them is 3300 millimeters. Write down as it is, which is given in the question, not 3.3. So we can write down 33 100 and millimeters. What about the next one? The next one is 34 meters. So it is already written as it is. And next is 320 meters, which is equivalent to 32,000 centimeters. And the last one, but not the least, it is 3.1 kilometers. So moving ahead to the questions. So moving ahead to So question number 19. So how we can solve question number 19? Look at the question. There is a circle. We have to apply geometrical properties of circle. And in the first part, we have to find angle DEG. Some of the angles are given that are clearly mentioned on this diagram as well. DEG. Where is DEG lying? D is here. What about E? E will be lying here. So basically the angles in the you can say alternate segment must be equal. Why? Because these are actually having the property like this, means if it is having a segment, means segment is being made with the two chords. So adjacent segments angles must be equal. So this angle must be equal to this, and similarly this angle must be equal to this. So if this angle is 75, it must also B equals to 75 degrees. So we can write down directly it is of having one mark. So 75 degrees is the final answer of this. Next one is DOG. DO and G, it is angle at the center. So angle at the center is twice the angle which is being made onto the opposite side at the circumference. If it is 75, so double of 75 will be DOG. So 75 times 2 must be equals to 150 degrees. So 150 degrees is the answer for DOG. So going to the next part that is DBC, angle DB and C. So this is the angle we need to calculate. For finding this angle, what needs to be understood, that is cyclic quadrilateral. For cyclic quadrilateral, DFG angle and the angle opposite to that quadrilateral side is DBG, this angle. So these two angles sum must be equals to 180 degrees. So angles opposite in a cyclic quadrilateral are supplementary angles. So if it is 75, so 180 minus 75 is the answer for angle DBG. So what's the answer of it? Angle DBG must be equals to angle DBG must be equals to 180 minus 75, and it is equals to 105 degrees. So look at the diagram. If we know these two angles and this is a straight line CBA, this is a straight line. When two angles are known, we have to find angle DBC, the third angle that will be equals to 180 degrees. So sum of all the three angles must be equals to 180 degrees, or we can say angle DBC is equals to 180 and subtract that angle 180, 48 and 105 sum must be subtracted from 180 degrees. Add these two, it will be 153. So 180 minus 153 results in 27 degrees. So 27 degrees is the answer for angle DBC. So moving ahead, if you have any queries related to geometrical properties of circle, I will make a separate video for the properties and then as well as the questions related to it. So if you have any queries, write down in the comment section. So moving ahead to the next part. In the next question is related to functions, and f of 3 is basically the input value x is given, that is 3, replacing x with 3 and finding the value of that function, new function f of 3. 6 times 3 plus 2 whole divided by 5. So 6 times 3 is 18 and plus 2 is 20. 20 by 5 is 4. So it is always be having of 1 mark. So if you have found the correct answer, you will be getting one complete number. Next part is related to inverse. So for having the inverse, write down the function again. 6x plus 2 whole divided by 5. So now make that f of x equals to y. So then cross multiply and make x the subject. So by cross multiplying, so it is 5y equals to 6x plus 2. So now bringing that, you can say 2 onto the other side, it is 5y minus 2 equals to 6x. Now divide that 6 onto the other side, it becomes 5y minus 2 over 6. So after this, right, in place of f, we can write on f inverse of y, which is equals to 5y minus 2 whole divided by 6. Now replace that y with x. That will be the final answer. It will become 5x minus 2 whole divided by 6. So this is the final answer from the inverse function question. So if you have any queries, I will you can say, explaining this thing in detail very soon. So moving ahead to the next question, it is related to variations. So y is inversely proportional to x plus 1 whole squared. So removing that proportional sign, we have to write on k and x plus 1 whole squared. So first of all, find the value of k when y is 2 and x is 3. Y is 2, x is 3, 3 plus 1 whole square. 3 plus 1 is 4, 4 square is 16, 16 and multiply by 2 results in 32. So k's answer is 32. Replacing that value of k into this equation, that is 32 over x plus 1 whole squared. In the next part, what we have to do, we have to find y and replace x with 9. So y equals to 32 over 9 plus 1 whole square. 9 plus 1 is 10. 10 square is 100. So 32 over 100 resulting in 0.32. Dividing any number by 100 is basically shifting decimal 2 units towards left. So it is 0.32. It's the final answer. Moving ahead, moving to the next part. In the next question, it's of algebra and we have to factorize. Read the command word factorize. So is there anything common in first two terms? It is a. Inside the bracket is 5x minus, and here we can write on 3y. So negative is to be taken as common as well. 10 and 6, highest common factor is 2. And c is to be taken as common. 5 and x is common. This term sign will be changed because third term sign is taken as negative as common. So minus 2 3 times 6 and y will be written as it is. So 5x minus 3y will be written one time, and onto the other side of the bracket is a minus c. So 5x minus 3y times a minus c. This is the final answer of this. So moving ahead to the next question, it is of midterm break question because there are three terms and we cannot apply any of the completing square method. So we have to just factorize 7 into 2 factors. Means last term is negative. It means that both of the factors having different signs. So 15 times 4 is 60. Factors of 60 we subtract, it gives 7. That are 12 and 5. You can check in rougher. So 15 times 4 means 15x squared. So bigger factor is 12. It must be having negative sign, and the smaller factor must be having opposite sign. That's positive 5x minus 4. So what's common in these two? 3 is to be taken as common, x square and x is to be taken as common 3 5 times, and x will be written, and minus 3 4 times 12, then nothing is common, 1 can be taken as common, and 5x minus 4 is to be written one time. So 5x minus 4 is to be taken as common into the one side of bracket, and other bracket 3x plus 1 will be written. So this is the final answer of this factorization. So 5x minus 4 times 3x plus 1. So what about the next question? In next question, it is given as y equals to 3x plus 2 whole divided by 2x minus 1, and we have to make x as a subject. There are two x involving here. So first of all, we have to cross multiply in order to make x onto the one side of the equation. The very first step is cross multiplying. It is equals to 3x plus 2. Now open the brackets. It will be 2x by minus y equals to 3x plus 2, bringing x onto the one side of the equation. So bringing that x onto the other side. So 2xy minus 3x equals to 2 plus y, or y plus 2, the same thing. So x can be taken as common in order to make it subject. So it is 2y minus 3 will be left inside the bracket equals to 2 plus y. So x and 2y minus 3 are going to multiply. So 2y minus 3 will be divided onto the other side. So 2 plus y divided by 2y minus 3. So this is the answer. Only x is onto the left hand side of the equation and it is made as the subject of the equation. 2 plus y divided by 2y minus 3. It is having 4 marks. If you have done each and every method correctly, you will get full marks. So moving ahead to the next question, that is related to matrices. In matrices, the information is given, the matrices are given, and they said Mn. Mn means product of M matrix and product of N is equals to Nm, the reverse order. So we can write down M as 1, 0, 4, and 3 is to be multiplied with K, 0, 1, and 4, which must be equals to K will be written K, 0, 1, 4 will be written at the first position and M will be written onto the other side 1043. Now opening the brackets, so multiplying, you can say 1 times K is K, 0 times 1 is 0. Similarly 1 times 0 is 0 plus 4 times 0 is 0. 4 times K is 4K plus 3 times 1 is 3. 4 times 0 is 0 plus 3 times 4 is 12 equals to K times 1 is K plus 0, 0 times 4 is 0, k times 0 is 0 plus 0 times 3 is 0, 1 times 1 is 1 plus 4 times 4 is 16, 1 times 0 is 0, 4 times 3 is 12. So we can see clearly that other you can say corresponding elements are equal. K is 0, 4k plus 3, and we can say it is 12 here. So all corresponding elements are equal. So where are how we can solve? You can say on one side of the you can say matrix corresponding element there is a variable, and on the other side of the you can say equation the other matrix is having a constant value. So we can find the value of k through this element means 4k plus 3 must be equals to 17, and this is a linear equation in one variable. We can solve it quite easily. 3 is to be taken as on to the other side. 17 minus 3 results in 14, and 4 will be divided onto the right hand side. So 14 by 4 is written here. Now cut down, simplify them to 2 times 2, 7 times 7 by 2, or we can say 3 whole 1 over 2, or we can say 3.5. All of these are the correct answers. So I hope so you understand. If you have any problems in matrices, do let me know. So I will be sharing the videos in depth about the matrices. So we are going. So moving towards the last question. So basically, there is a diagram which is given, and we have to express in part A simply in terms of A and B according to the given vectors, that is AC. AC is basically equals to double of AB because B is the midpoint. So if AB is given as 6A plus 3B, so we can write down as 2 times 6A plus 3b, and it can be simplified as well 12a plus 6b. Both are fine. If you don't multiply, it will be same as the other one. So 12a plus 6b is the answer for AC. What about AD? For finding AD, we have to show the complete diagram. Means if this is 6a plus 3b, and what about AC? AC must be having 12a plus 6b, and similarly about DC, we know DC. So if you want to find the answer for AD, I'm just representing in terms of vectors. 12a plus 6b, here A is given and C is also given here, and D is here, and it's 5a plus 2b. We have to find AD, the arrow towards D. It must be arrow towards D. So 12a plus 6b must be taken as positive because tails of both vectors are joining, and here a tail and head are joining. So 5a plus 2b will be taken as negative. So 12a plus 6b, 12a plus 6b subtracted by 5a plus 2b. Simply subtracting 12 minus 5a results in 7a, and similarly 6b minus 2b resulting in plus 4b. This is answer for AB. So quickly moving ahead, it's basically you can say 6A plus 3B minus half of 7A plus 4B is to be written here. So 6A minus 7 by 2 means 3.5. It is 5 by 2A, and 3 minus 2 must be giving us 1B. So the answer is 1B. So moving ahead, so what we have to do here. So by simply seeing it, you can say we have to tell that EB is basically parallel to DC. So if vector DC is given 5A plus 2B, which is already given, and we have found EB, both vectors must be scalar multiple to each other. If we multiply EB with 2, that will be equals to DC, or we can say DC vector is basically double of EB. Means if we multiply that vector with 2, that is resulting in the vector DC. So these are basically scalar multiple of each other. So it means that we have proved that these two vectors EB and DC are parallel to each other. So this is all from today's video. If you have any queries related to this paper or any type of question, you can write it in the comment section and tell me about the feedback as well. So stay tuned and stay blessed. Allah Hafiz.